gnarly.
What's up, Taylor?
Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way.
Wait.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright. Or what's...
Bro, gnarly.
What's up, Taylor?
Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way.
Wait.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3411. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, 3 Ted Smith, and my cock, and you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, the Men's Room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV time with Ted. Clock, during the junk. All right, here we go. Florida man arrested for calling 911 for a ride home. Shows off his Florida state pride. Meanwhile, when you steal a U-Haul, then drive it through someone's home, there is really nowhere you can run or hide. Teens in Colorado deadly arson apparently set the wrong house on fire. If you want to booby-trap your home, there's a Michigan man you can hire. And a man doing donuts in the snow accidentally launches his truck through a frozen lake. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, you ever been told how lucky you were based on how unlucky you were in the first place? You know, you're lucky that you didn't bleed out because you were unlucky enough to have your leg torn off by a shark, or you're lucky the bullet didn't hit your heart, not counting how unlucky you were to be shot in the chest in the first place. Well, 22-year-old Joseph DeMeo, he's making headlines today. He's out of New Jersey, and he can relate. Doctors explain how lucky he is to be the first person on this earth with successfully transplanted hands and a successfully transplanted face. Now, he was unlucky when he almost burned to death on his Dodge Challenger, leading to the need for the new hands and new face in the first place, but I digress. Or how about the California man who is, quote, lucky to be alive, if you discount how unlucky he was to have driven off of the 6th story of a parking garage. And then there's the man in Maine who was ice skating on a lake, and you guessed it, he's lucky to be alive, if you just ignore how unlucky he was to break through the ice and plunge into the frigid water. Now, we have a million more headlines exactly like this. Hell, if you've ever been to the emergency room, then you know that every doctor in the U.S., they'll tell you how lucky you are that you showed up when you did, in spite of the fact that you're in the emergency room with a medical emergency. See, luck is relative to the people that didn't suffer the fatal blow in the first place. So today, we want to hear why other people think that you're so lucky, even though you had to be unlucky enough to be as lucky as they think you are. Make sense? So today's question, what unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are?
Be a part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
A pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the shows and away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,411. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Steve the Thrill, the return of Who Sucks Less.
Yeah.
You bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 which of the 3 suck the least. How are the stories looking this week?
Well, you see, man, I would say that today's stories, let's just say they're sticky.
What makes them sticky?
Well, you see, man, I don't really know. You'll just have to listen for yourself.
Was C-Man a clue?
No, I was just talking to you guys because you asked.
All right.
Why would I possibly drop a clue?
Okay, just check it. Who Sucks Less on the way, and today we're going to talk about you being lucky. And lucky is, as you said, it's depending on the circumstances. Yes, you might be lucky, but the bottom line is to be lucky, most of the time, you have to be unlucky.
I just think people misunderstand. And I understand the sentiment that people put forward. But, like, if you win $50 million in the Powerball,
you're lucky.
You're lucky. If you won $50 million because you successfully sued the doctor after they accidentally removed your penis, like, you're not lucky.
Didn't you have a wedding that you went to where the woman got hit by a crane? In New York.
No,
in the Hamptons.
Yeah, her mom, the right. Woman's mother. And it was national news at the time. And she got paid. So they read her last rites 3 separate times. Keep in mind, every time she was read her last rites, she was under the crane on the sidewalk in Midtown Manhattan. Well, she ended up surviving, which the city of New York, I'm sure, is not thrilled about because she gets, and she's still alive, $20 million a year, every year that she lives.
Now, you talked to her.
Yeah.
And did she seem like she was okay?
She had a severe limp. They replaced her hip, so they crushed her hip and whatever else. So she had a replacement hip, and she was living well. Make no mistake about this. This woman's living very, very well. But again,
Do you feel that you would trade places with this person? Would you go through the same trauma for $20 million a year for life?
It sounds tempting, but here's the thing. I've never had $20 million a year, so I don't know what it's like to have that. That's one. Two, I've also never been hit by a crane, nor have I had my last
right. You don't know. She might have been in physical therapy for 5 years.
She was in physical therapy for a long time. She also had 2 young kids at the time, which maybe if I'm not a parent, maybe I trade places. But when you have kids and you hear her daughter, who was a friend of mine, that's the one who's getting married, to hear how she remembers it, it's not worth the money. You thought your mom was going to die, and you never want to put your kids through that kind of thing. It's not worth it. And then also the amount of pain that she was in at the time, because she's under this crane for hours and hours and hours thinking she's going to die. But like she said, it's not one of those things where adrenaline kicked in and I didn't feel it. She's like, no, it hurt. It felt like there was a goddamn crane on top.
Right.
Right. So
my
she
buddy,
got paid, but no.
She probably had to be scared to even just walk through the city.
She thought she was going to, right. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of PTSD that goes along with it. So, yeah, she lives well. She has money, sure. But I don't know. Based on the severity of what happened to her, I don't know that that's worth it.
My buddy, he just got his COVID shots, and he's our age, and he tweeted out that he was lucky to be one of the first people to get a COVID shot. Well, the reason that he's lucky to be one of the first people is because he's a double organ recipient.
Right, again.
So he needed it, and
I have not gotten vaccinated,
right.
But my organs worked fine.
Being in West Virginia. He really had to isolate himself. Mm-hmm. He's got 2 teenage sons. I mean, he was
tough.
As strict as you could possibly be, because before he got the shot, if he were to get COVID, it could be really, really bad.
Sure.
So he finally got a shot. I think he just got a second shot. Whatever that is, he got the double one. But either way, he tweeted out how lucky he was to get the shot. And I was like, yeah, Nui, but the reason that you got the shot was you were lucky again. You were lucky to get those organs. You were lucky to get the transplant. The bottom line is
why
you needed all of that.
Right, you needed
because
them.
you were type 1 diabetic, and eventually some things in your body started.
So lucky for you, you're a type 1 diabetic. Therefore,
Correct.
You got the COVID shot.
Insulin dependent, going blind,
right?
Organs failing, but lucky
for you,
lucky to get vaccinated, and he is. I mean, honestly, especially in rural West Virginia. Granted, for whatever reason, West Virginia is doing a pretty good job of rolling out the vaccinations.
They are, because we live in the upside down universe.
I cannot believe that's even possible, but they are. But I just, it's yes, you are lucky. But
Ted, how many people have told you that you're lucky that you had a threesome?
Wow.
I mean, you went to the money range. You paid for that to happen.
Right.
So lucky
it's not really lucky.
No. Hey, sexy. Like, you're not lucky to get a steak if you go to a steak restaurant and order the goddamn steak. Like, they brought it to you because you paid for it.
That's why when people bring it up, like, I don't generally throw in my story because I'm like, it's not the same.
It's
not
not
like I
the
pulled,
same, right.
And for the record, there's 3 girls, so that's a foursome.
My bad.
No, that is lucky. I'm saying that's lucky.
I think what was lucky was that we had Dennis on the show, so it was more affordable.
That's the lucky part.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yes, absolutely. One of
the few buffets I've been to where I was like, it's almost too much.
People talk about they talk about that chance. Maybe they did get lucky and that happened. I've never heard of it happening with 3 women or 3 dudes and 1 woman or whatever the hell you want. Like that's a lot.
It is, but again,
if a woman wanted,
it's a different term when it's 3 dudes and 1 girl.
It's a devil's 3-way. But what is it when there's one more dude? Like a woman's like, I want to be with 3 men at once.
Never been.
How do you like to travel, Miles?
Devil quad. I mean, I don't know.
Miles, how do you like to travel to Portland?
By train.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I guess there is a term.
Yeah,
I really thought of it that way.
Man, sorry, I just have a flush.
Although I do like that you pointed. Well, I never bring it up. There's a threesome because I pay. But by the way, is a foursome?
Well, we're gonna bring it up.
No, you're right.
Who did you pay attention to the most?
There had to be one relay.
Yeah, because you got the ice cream sundae, right?
Neapolitan?
The Neapolitan.
No, mine was more like it's 2 blondes and a black girl.
Okay, so the reverse Oreo.
Yeah. All right.
Is that what you call it on the menu?
I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something.
It's
layer cake.
Have you ever done that with 2 vanilla wafers and chocolate in the middle? I guess
it's called a Milano.
There you go, Milano.
Milano. That's what it was.
You did the Milano.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it, or
No.
Okay.
It was.
They called it Pepperidge Farm.
Pepperidge Farms, remember?
I'm almost blushing. I haven't talked about this in a while on the air. No, one was Dennis's girlfriend at the time, and the other two were like her friends.
Okay.
So when I got to the airport in Reno, right? I mean, I just turned 30. It's like my heart's racing. I know why I'm there. And then there's just these three girls that obviously are something, and they're going on and on about they got to cook the food, and like guys shouldn't be cooking, and this and that. So finally, I can't help myself. I go, unless it's a grill. What? And I just start, BSing with them, and they're like, well, what are you doing in town? I was like, oh, got a limo outside, and they're like, oh, well, they always called him Daddy D. I was like, yeah, I know Dennis. And they're like, is, Charlie in the limo? Is he waiting for you? I was like, yeah. And they're like, you got to party with us. Okay. Right. So that's the first night. And then the next day I talked to Dennis on the phone, and he's like, heard you got a big party planned. I was like, well, yeah.
Yes, I do.
I sure do.
So that's kind of how it happened.
What's your girlfriend?
In a shocker, it was the hot blonde girl that looks like a Playboy model.
The chick that would inevitably be attracted to you in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds great. That is lucky.
It was, Miles.
That's lucky.
It's not luck, but if you got the money to do it, it's money well spent, is what I would say.
I'd pay that loan off for 5 years. People are like, oh, wow, man, I got 5 years on this car. Like, hell of a car.
I got 5 years on the brothel.
I got a 5 year on a Rolodex of memories right here.
I was using them the other day.
You know what I mean? Like, got to go to the bank, make a withdrawal.
6 in 3 days.
So the story goes, almost 6 months after a rare face and hand transplant, Joe DeMeo is realizing how to smile, blink, pinch, and squeeze. The 22-year-old New Jersey resident had an operation.
Are those the names of the girls you were with?
Last August. 2 years after being badly burned in a car crash.
He hates Joe to mustard.
Yeah. Experts say it appears the surgery at NYU was a success, but they warn it'll take some time to say for sure. Worldwide, surgeons have completed 18 face transplants and 35 hand transplants. He got both. But
lucky.
Simultaneous face and double hand transplants are extremely rare and have only been tried twice before. And they have tried and failed. A guy in Paris died about a month later from complications after a face transplant. Back in 2018, by the way, DeMeo fell asleep at the wheel. After working a night shift, he was a product tester for a drug company. Car hit a curb, then a utility pole, flipped over, burst into flames. Another driver runs over who sees the accident and tries to rescue DeMeo. Afterward, he spent months in a induced coma, underwent 20 reconstructive surgeries, multiple skin grafts to treat his extensive third-degree burns. And once it became clear conventional surgeries could not help him regain full vision or use his hands, the team at the hospital started to prepare for the transplant in early 2019. And almost immediately, they encountered some challenges, including finding a donor whose face would be, appropriate for his face.
So, and I don't know if you know this or if they talk about it in the article, but your bone structure has a lot to do with how your face looks. So, I mean, do you have to find someone who already kind of looks like you?
Pretty much. Doctors estimate it. Like, you can't.
Sadly, Wendy Williams would be the person on my face.
Yeah, if there's a female organ donor who passes away tragically or passes away at some point in time, I don't think it matters what sex you are to harvest those organs. I don't think that necessarily.
But would you want, girl hands, just based on the fact how you're built?
I'm talking about a kidney, a liver.
Yeah, I'd say they're kidneys, but if they're like, look, man, all we have are women's hands. So we know you're 6'4", we know you're dude. She was 5'2".
Would I take them?
I mean, I would still take them.
Oh, yeah, man, because your penis will now look huge when you hold it. I mean, I'm assuming the hands are going to be a little smaller than mine.
Yeah.
I would assume.
But I don't know. Yeah, either way.
I was thinking about me walking around on Tina Turner's legs.
Doctors estimated he had only a 6% chance of finding a match compatible with his immune system. They also wanted to find someone, as you said, Steve, with the same gender, skin tone, and hand dominance.
But would you if they said, Miles, listen, man, the problem is your accident happened in Senegal, all right? A lot of black people here. We know you're a white dude, but we have a donor. They should work. Would you take, a black dude's hands?
It wouldn't matter to me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, what if it's someone like Shaquille O'Neal, right? He's 7'2".
Well, that's going to be a little bit much.
He's got Shaquille O'Neal. But if they say this is what we've got, you can either have no hand or I'm taking Shaquille's hand.
You look like a freak.
Because not having a hand.
Why would you not want bigger hands?
I mean, because they would be so much bigger proportionally.
You would turn it down.
You've seen Shaq, man.
I want Shaq hands.
You know how big that
You're telling me.
You know how big that
The
guy
doctor
is.
says to you, look, the only one that we have that viably can be transplanted onto
my hands are huge. Like Andre the Giant
But they're Shaquille O'Neal's hands. You would say no.
No, I take his penis. taking his
It's already been taken.
Exactly. But then as soon as they try to start this process, the pandemic hits.
Right.
So people aren't dying anymore. I mean, honest to God, organ donations plummeted based on the pandemic.
Sure.
Less people out on the roads, less people putting themselves in risky situations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As with any transplant, the danger of rejection is high. But so far, since leaving the hospital in November, DeMeo has been in intensive rehabilitation, devoting hours daily to physical, occupational, speech therapy. During a recent session, he practiced raising his eyebrows. Now that's the kind of training I like. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to go to the water.
You don't have to move your whole head.
5.
You might have to train now.
7.
Yeah.
8. I'm trying to get a little bit of motion to my neck. 9. 10. You know what I mean? Opening and closing his eyes. 3 sets of 10. Puckering his mouth. So you just act like you have Instagram.
Right.
10 sets of Instagram.
You're taking a selfie. Just channel
I
that
wish
energy.
people could see that Miles'
Giving a
whole
thumbs up.
head moves with this
Giving a
going
thumbs
on.
up.
All right.
Got to give 10 thumbs up. Like, hey, sad bro. How's it going? And whistling. Which is...
No.
I don't really think that you need to relearn that.
But Miles, you've had a sports injury. Like when I hurt my knee the first time, like even just trying to do like a leg lift, without any weight was like impossible. Mm-hmm. And you got to relearn that stuff. It's brutal.
By the way, the guy can already bench 50 pounds. He's practicing his golf swing, so he can hold a 50 pounds.
He's practicing his golf swing.
Yeah, which
That's
is impressive.
a dedicated golfer.
Well, I mean, they're not.
The hell of my eyebrows! I'm playing golf.
They're not in your hands.
Hey, maybe get a better grip.
And unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but if you have a very good short game, all right, let's just say you're 30 feet out from the green, okay, and you really hit a very nice, delicate shot and goes up near the hole. The typical congratulations to a golfer is great hands. So,
thank you. They're not mine.
Exactly. Larry's hands.
I'm still thinking about walking around with these Shaq hands.
I know, man. I keep picturing everyone in here with Shaquille O'Neal's hands.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like you're holding a teeny tiny Coke can all the time, I think. You're just like, that dude is huge.
He is huge, but those are the only you can either have none or you get Shaquille O'Neal's hands.
I'm Googling this. Shaq hands.
Shaq hands.
I just want to see how big his hands are, because I'm sure there is something that says, like, look, this guy's got unusually large
Have
hands.
you seen Kawhi Leonard's hands?
I have not seen Kawhi.
Kawhi Leonard's hands are crazy big.
So
Like,
he's
look
like
at
his
that.
hands.
Look how big his hands are. His hands, I mean, that,
Kawhi Leonard.
You have to take them, though. You got to get hands,
Look at
man.
these hands.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Dude.
Oh, my
You
God.
can't have Shaq hands. Shaq hands? No way. There's no way. You know how your penis would disappear inside that hand. You couldn't even find it.
That already does.
You know what I mean? It'd be so depressing to look down when you're using the bathroom with those Shaq hands.
I just think
This is
everywhere
not
you
proportional.
go, you'd have to say, what are you staring at? You wouldn't have to ask. I know you're staring at my hands. These used to be Shaquille O'Neal's hands. He donated them to me.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
I can't believe that they can do that, though. I can't believe that they can
It's remarkable. I mean, it really is.
put hands on somebody. I'm assuming that it's more of a skin graft, or is it the whole
It's the
entire
hands, I believe.
So
So
it's-
they call it a hand transit.
So
skin graft is skin graft.
within the wrist, a whole
Yeah.
hand.
That's
So they
it,
couldn't
man.
repair that. So they just put someone else's hands on.
Someone else's hands.
So why couldn't they do the same thing for, say, someone who loses a leg below the knee? All right, so you see people who wear they've got a prosthetic or whatever.
I don't think
Wouldn't
it's
you
as
that if you
necessary,
well, it might not be as necessary.
You could probably, but I don't know, because that's a matter of balance. So even if you get the prosthetic, you can
or
balance.
just maybe the foot.
Maybe.
I mean, but the foot has more bones, muscles than anything else.
Right, but I mean, your
It might be a
hands
little
you
more
use to
complicated.
grab everything, right? Your feet, as long as you can keep your balance. I don't know. Would
Yeah.
you take Shaq's legs? Right, so like,
Oh
look,
my God, yes.
so
I'd be tall.
you'd probably hit about 6'6" all of a
I
sudden.
mean, I would look
You look
awkward.
like a dude on stilts.
Yeah, but I'd be much taller.
But your torso would still be your torso, so you have these super long legs, and then your same torso.
I mean, it looked funny, but I'm in.
You would take his
Okay.
legs.
I think I'd rather have his hands, though.
I would take his hands.
What? How about his face?
No,
That's the only thing.
Do
we're
I
not
get the
talking
whole
about here.
head or just the face?
just the face.
You get Shaq's face.
Let me think on that one.
Okay, get back to us.
Oh man, you're not kidding, Leonard. Jeez, a whiz! His hand goes
Yeah,
around the
Kawhi
entire
Leonard.
basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Like his
Would you
hands.
take Kawhi Leonard's hands?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Yes.
look at this. Look at this. That's the difference.
Oh, my God.
Now you see the difference. It's a double hand.
Your hand would be almost twice as long as it is now.
Oh my! I think that really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? There's a picture of a regular person's hands pressed up against an NBA player's hands, and it's not even.
Their fingertips come to the second knuckle.
Exactly.
Like
not even.
I'll tell you what. I would take his hands and become a masseuse. People are like, bro, I don't know your secret. Like, I got Shaq's hands.
Shaq hands.
I got Shaq hands, brother. Shaq hand massage. You heard anywhere we could reach it.
Shaq massage?
Yeah, Shaq massage.
That's hard to say.
Our question, what unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ben. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. I was rear-ended on the freeway while riding a motorcycle.
Ooh, what was the damage?
Totaled the bike, and the bike still ran. So, I mean, that's not so bad. It was a hit and run.
Did you fly through the air?
No. So they hit it just right, like just on the back tire. That it tried to shoot the bike out from under me, and it laid me out on the bike, and the bike kept traveling forward, and I had to sit up and try to regain control of the bike before it laid down and skidded across the freeway.
So were they trying to hit you?
No, it's like a weird merging place up here in Everett on the freeway where it's like two lanes of traffic that have to merge over immediately. And I was trying to merge over, and then as I merged over, they just blew right through me, and then they ran off. And from what I saw and from what other people said, that they looked like there was like 5 kids in the car, and everybody thought I died because my head like pushed the back of my neck, and like everything was on the ground and everywhere.
And how do people tell you that you're lucky? You're lucky you didn't die.
I didn't have any injuries.
None. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That is
still
amazing.
Not lucky.
What, now, the bike is totaled. Do you go buy another motorcycle after this?
No, I got into cars.
I was going to say, did that scare you to the danger of being on 2 wheels going that fast?
No, it's other players, or it's other people playing and driving on the road, you know?
No, I know
you get
that.
hit by somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good of a motorcycle driver you are.
But you come to that realization the first time you wreck a motorcycle.
Right.
Because it's never your fault. It's always a left turn. I've never heard of anybody getting rear-ended, but half the time it's somebody making a left turn. And that's when you lay a bike down.
Accidents. That was the one that I cashed my chips out on.
Okay. What kind of bike was it?
It was a Honda Valkyrie, 2011.
That's a nice bike.
It was a big bike.
Yeah. Mike, you ever get your bike out and take it for a spin, man?
From time to time, not terribly often, but yeah.
Okay. So you got your motorcycle
endorsement, yes,
endorsement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Does your license say restricted and BJ on it like mine does?
No, sir.
Okay.
What does that stand
require
for?
glasses?
Well, it's glasses.
But
and
what does
motorcycle.
BJ mean?
It just says restricted.
In visual lingo.
I'm not kidding you. It says restricted and then BJ, and I'm like, no wonder. This is unbelievable.
Oh crud! It does.
It does say you restricted from getting one?
Restrictions
It
BJ.
doesn't matter. You're getting married.
That's why they put it there.
It's like, no wonder. It's right there on the license telling you no. Don't do that. What unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
The men's room is in progress. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Join us for a little party. A little tiny, small,
teeny tiny.
KISW's 50th anniversary celebration launches next Friday, February the 12th, and a year-long celebration after that. We will be celebrating all weekend as we turn 50 years old.
You think it upsets people that turned 40 or 50 or 30 last year and COVID ruined it? Because we're celebrating.
Well, 50 is the new 40.
I'm happy to see a celebration.
You know,
Exactly.
you're right. 50 is the new 4. So even though we're turning 50, we feel 40.
Joined by members of Guns N' Roses, Metallica, of course, legendary KISW alumni, the reason that we are here.
Correct.
We wouldn't be doing an afternoon show if it wasn't for Mike West, Gary Crow, guys who did it back in the day, because, most stations do not have afternoon programs that are like a talk show.
No.
These guys did it way before we did. So we're going to be talking to some of the legends. Back then, they could have fun. That's what we've been hearing from some of the stories that you'll be hearing next February for KISW's 50th anniversary celebration, brought to you by our friends at Palace Law. All right, our question, what unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
One of the inspirations for today's question, a guy out of New Jersey, I believe it is, Joe DeMeo. He's in a bad car accident, gets burned over most of his body. Anyway, the doctors are saying how lucky he is because they successfully transplanted a face from someone else onto his head. And also, he has 2 brand new hands, which are donated from someone else, all right? So it is someone else's hands. And Miles, we said, what if it's Shaquille O'Neal, who we know has huge hands? Wouldn't you take his hands? You said no. Well, somebody sent us in the measurements. By the way, Ted, Shaq's hands are larger than Kawhi Leonard's hands.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's just body size. So Shaq's hands, just so you know, 10.25 inches. All right. So from basically the base of your hand to the tip of your middle finger, 10.25 inches.
Correct.
So now we're in the hospital and they say, all we have are Shaq's hands. Now, we did the measurements of each person here on the show. Mike, your hands measure 7 7/8 inches. So in your case, you're adding almost another 3 inches. Again, you're looking at your middle finger. Add 3 inches of height to that. That is on your body now. Ted, you're at 7.5 inches. So basically, you're adding just under an additional 3 inches.
Nice.
Right. Look at that. 3 inches. Miles, you're at 8.25 inches. Okay. It's an additional 2 inches.
All right. I'll take an additional 2 inches.
Which doesn't sound like much until you look at your hand
It
and
sounds like
imagine
a lot to me.
2 more inches. And then I was 8.75 inches. So another like 1.5 inches. It's your hands.
So you got a half inch on me?
Your right hands are looking everywhere.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Every inch counts.
What unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
We're doing great, Daniel. How are you?
Oh, not too well. I actually got fired today, and that's why I'm calling.
Aren't you lucky? Yeah. Because now you have time off and can enjoy the weather. Why'd you get fired?
I got fired because I don't know why. You know, everything seems to be going well. I drove for a landscaping company, and I had gotten stuck a few times in some muck and stuff, but nothing really too horrible. Never had to get a tow truck or anything to come out and get me. Didn't hit any vehicles, so I thought I was doing pretty well. But I got the call today saying that they had to let me go.
Did they give you a reason?
Nope. They just said that we feel that it is in your best interest that we let you go.
In your
best interest.
How long had you been working there?
Almost a year. I was about to get a week's of paid vacation and a pay raise and some nice stuff. I live out in Shelton, and I was making an hour, 7-minute drive home. But got the call today.
Okay, who do you, Daniel, honestly, someone didn't like you, probably, or it could be that, just budgetarily, they couldn't pull it off. So what do you honestly think? The boss didn't like you, you offended somebody,
right?
Or it was just, hey, man, we just can't afford to pay you?
I think it was my coworker. My coworker he was a mechanic. He was pulling rank, and they were bringing in another driver. So I think it was my coworker.
Okay,
he was a curmudgeon. He did not like me. I thought we were getting along kind of well, but he had enough influence with the boss. But I can't say for sure because
you seem convinced, though.
Did you hang out with anybody outside of work ever?
No, as I said, I have an hour, 7-minute drive home, and I got dogs at the house, so I would stay for like a half hour and BS with my yard boss, but nothing like that.
So do you feel like you're lucky to lose this job?
With COVID and anything right now, not really, but it is still the slow season, so I'm hoping that I can just hold out for a month or two.
Look, you might have a situation where you get a better job. And although you can't figure out...
You also might not.
Yeah, that's why, you
not
thought
to
you were
be that
unlucky
guy
to get fired, but maybe you were lucky in the long run that you got a better employer.
How did that answer the question, though?
I don't know.
I'm
I was
confused
trying to
as well.
spin it.
I didn't feel compelled to tell him that he's lucky. I mean, it is an unusually nice day outside, so if there's a day I leave work early, this should be the day. The problem is I got a job to go back to.
What unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
I don't think you heard the second half of the question.
Yeah, apparently that is the problem. A couple of comments here. They kind of nail it. It says, 2 experimental surgeries from 3 different dentists, 2 orthodontists, and 3 oral surgeons, and about 20 treatments afterwards. They gave me free teeth whitening because my case was being presented in a medical journal, and they wanted my mouth to look the best they could for the lectures in the journal. People tell me I'm lucky that I got my teeth whitened for free from my orthodontist, even though it's because of a horrific accident causing me to need it in the first place. So in spite of the fact I had 2 experimental surgeries from 3 different dentists, 2 orthodontists, and 3 oral surgeons, and 20 different treatments, people are like, yeah, but you're lucky you didn't have to pay for your tooth whitening.
And no one likes that. No one likes the teeth stuff.
Someone else says, the doctor told me how lucky I was not to lose my left testicle after having a 250-pound plus woman slip and crush my left boy while she was getting out of a hot tub. Yay. Lucky me.
Oh, man. Wow. Just thinking about how that went down is not good.
Mm-hmm. And I like this one. It says, they said I was lucky for not being blinded when a Rottweiler bit my face and pierced my eye socket when I was 7. Lucky you, man. That is some dumb luck. Jesus, people. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, guys.
Hola.
Hey, man. So, hey, can I give a quick shout-out? It's actually part of the story.
All right.
Hey, shout-out to the Washington State Ferry Carpenters out there, my coworkers, man. So about 2.5 or 3 weeks ago, I actually hit this huge patch of black ice going north on Highway 3 and rolled my truck on the highway. And my coworker stopped and picked me up on the side of the road and took me to work. So I didn't miss work, man.
All right. How lucky are you?
But you got to roll your truck.
I'm rolling my truck. I'm not coming in. You kidding me?
Yeah, think about that. Anyone else like, hey, boss, I'm not making it in today. I roll my truck. I got
stuff I got to do now.
Oh, Miles is driving by. Yay, I'm in luck. Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Get in.
Hey, get this. That was my second week of work ever. I just got this job. So there was no sign of ice that morning at all. It was like no ice on the grass on my truck. I think it was like 40 degrees. Well, out of nowhere, I just hit this huge patch underneath this overpass, and I was in the left lane, and there's this huge 18-wheeler next to me, and I just lost control, and I like ping-ponged off of both sides of the highway, and some lady, real nice lady, pulled over and was like, oh, my God, I saw the whole thing, and she said I got like inches from the 18-wheeler, but I hit the guardrail going 60, and my truck rolled over, and my tire flew off. And my coworker, the only thing I could think of was, oh my gosh, I need to call my boss right now.
Wow, it is weird how that works.
Was it slow motion for you?
It was pretty slow motion to think of it now, but the cop says I was going 60 when I hit that guardrail.
Well, you and Steve are probably the only 2 people I know that actually rolled a vehicle. So, what is it like when you roll your truck? I mean, how many times do you think you rolled it?
Actually, so I can't say I rolled it. It was more like a tip over. So I hit the guardrail going so fast when my tire flew off, and like my truck like popped up in the air and like instead with having 3 tires, it didn't go back on 4, so it rolled over. But it was slow motion, man.
So did you get a new truck out of the deal?
Oh no! But I went and bought myself a little commuter Volkswagen. So
okay, all right. Well, the gas mileage. Maybe that's where you get lucky. You used to put all that money in your gas tank and drive all that way, and now you can just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's luck.
Drive an eco car.
I like this guy here. It's Greg in Tacoma. It says about 5 years ago, I ended up in the hospital having seizures. I had a pear-sized blood clot on my spine. Think about that. A pear-sized blood clot on my spine. It caused by a ruptured spinal artery. I died twice on the table, slipped into a coma. The surgeon said he didn't think I was going to make it, and I probably wouldn't walk again. Well, I was able to start walking unassisted about 3.5 years ago. I'd say I'm pretty lucky. I would not. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, that is fantastic.
So how long ago did this happen?
I don't know how long it happened, but in the last 3.5 years, he's been able to start walking unassisted.
That's a hell of a lot of therapy.
Right. I mean, I understand. It is great that you're able to do that. No one takes away from that. But I'm lucky enough that I don't have a pear-sized blood clot on my spine, and I'm still walking fine.
Anyone will tell you.
Do you think death is unlucky?
It depends on your situation.
Right. Because, I mean, this whole conversation, right, it's like, like I know a guy who went in for a physical, and they found the cancer. Yeah. So he says he's lucky because they found it. Dustin Diamond didn't go in time. He died from it. So, I get the point of, it's probably luckier not to have cancer, but also it's still partly lucky, right?
Well, you got to be proactive about it.
But I think it's better you go to the doctor and they say you don't have cancer. Right. I know what people mean. So it's based on the fact that you were already unlucky that you have cancer, because no one's lucky to have cancer, but if that is your baseline, having cancer is your baseline, then yes, you're lucky that they found your cancer before it got worse.
When I had my colonoscopy, they removed 4 polyps that are the type that could cause cancer. They were not cancerous, but they could eventually, right? So he said, look, depending on what we find in there, you're either going to have to come back every 5 years or every 3 years. Mm-hmm. And he said, based on what we found with you, we seriously recommend that you come back every 3 years. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Doc, I'll come back every year.
Sure.
If you think I've got something in there. You know what I mean? That could cause that, because I don't want to wait 3 years. Because the moment I walk out here, it'll start brewing again. And then 3 years later,
oh my God, you should have come in 2 years ago.
It'd be like crazy herpes. Like, it's gone everywhere. Like that weed that takes over. What's an unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Cody. Welcome to the men's room.
Cody, are you there?
Oh, yes, Tony. Hi.
Oh, Tony.
Hola.
Hola.
Tony.
I love you guys.
We love you too, Tony.
Even though we thought your name was Cody. Trust me, I've been in that situation before.
That's what I thought you said. That's why I was silent.
Well, welcome to the show.
Anyhow, November 16th, 2014, I ended up in the hospital with 8 blood clots in my right leg and 4 in my right lung.
Good God, man. Is there any reason for that?
They don't know. They did all sorts of genetic testing and all sorts of testing, and blood clots don't run in my family. They have no clue. But the thing about it was, before that, 6 months before that, I went into this major coughing fit in the shower, came out with a torn, small, God, what are those muscles in your chest called? I know I'm a woman, and they're not called boobs.
Pectorals? Pectoral muscles?
No, they're not called the boob muscle.
I tore my small pectoral.
Okay.
Coughing so hard in the shower, and the doctors think that's when at least one of the blood clots probably entered my lung.
Okay, that makes sense.
So was it in your legs? Was that like deep vein thrombosis? Is that what
yes, DVTs.
Okay. All right. Well, that's from sitting on your ass. It is. Like if you have a desk job, that's one of like truck drivers, long haul truck drivers.
I'm an accountant by trade. I sit at the desk.
So how do they figure? Who tells you you're lucky? Is it like you're lucky they found?
The doctors, because they said for the not so much the blood clots in my leg, but they could have traveled up and into my lungs and my heart too. But for them to get into my lungs, they had to have gone through my heart.
You know what's real lucky is not having blood clots.
Right. So do you have to take like an aspirin, blood thinners? What are you on now?
I actually went off all my meds because I pissed off at my doctor.
What? So why would you wait?
That'll show him.
Why would you stop taking your meds because you're mad at the doctor?
Because I don't like my doctor, and my clinic won't give me another doctor right now.
But Tony, you need your meds.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's...
I know everybody tells me that. I know.
Yeah, put gum on his chair if you don't like him, but keep taking your meds, man.
Give him a bad Yelp review, but keep going.
Draw a penis on his windshield, but keep taking your meds.
Yeah, it's a female. That would go over really good.
That's kind of
draw a vagina. I mean, look, it doesn't matter. But
I'm going to be vengeful and not take my meds just to piss my doctor off. I
know.
He loves you. He's trying to take care of you, but I don't think ultimately he cares. Right? That's up to you. That's what every doctor says. Like, look, I can tell you what you should do. The rest is up to you.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You know, like exercise and eating well and stop smoking and all the things that you hear every time. Like, well, that's kind of on you.
Yep.
He told you.
How long, so you said this is what was it, 2013 is when they discovered this? 2014.
2014, November 16th, 2014. I woke up and my right leg was like 2 to 3 times the size of my left.
Damn. Okay.
And I looked at my boyfriend and I said, I can't even get out of bed to go potty. You got to help me. And I said, I think I have to go to the hospital.
That's what I'm broken up with. You'd be like, I got to help you poop. No, I'm out. No. I am out packing my stuff. Just nope. I love you. I'm not helping you poop, man.
You wipe on your own.
Yeah, that's done. I would have told my parents, like, look, the minute you need a sponge bath, I'm calling for backup. That's the rule. Like, I love you. Sure, you can stay here if you need to. Wait, you need a sponge what now? Yeah, I'm going to be on the phone quick. I hear someone says, hola, bitches. This is from Jared in Bellingham. I tried to do a flip on a trampoline. I landed on my head. Went to the hospital and was told that I was lucky I wasn't paralyzed, even though I broke my neck.
Well, you are. I mean, you broke your neck, but you're lucky. It could be much, much worse.
Everything could be worse. That's why it's such a stupid statement to me. Like if I walked into work today, you're lucky you didn't get hit by a car. Well, not really. I just You're unlucky if you do, but I don't know if you're lucky that you didn't.
Every day I walk in and I say, lucky to be here.
Yeah, no. It's like, or you just look both ways.
But if you do have a life-altering experiences, it changes the way you look at every day, right?
It sure does.
I mean, if you did have one of those things, I mean, you read it all the time. Like someone says, like I used to sleep in, or whatever the deal was, never really thought about anything, just going to work, come home, and now like I appreciate every day because I shouldn't be here.
Well, I mean, technically, when I split my head open, I should have died, but...
Yeah, well, you were lucky you needed Advil.
I just don't climb on stuff anymore.
See, that's one thing.
Right.
That's what the doctor said. The doctor's like, you're lucky you got here today. It's been 5 minutes more. I was like, well, I don't want to stop you right there, but it's been like 8 to 12 hours. So you should say if you'd waited 12 hours and 5 minutes more. Not because if you had gone in that night, if you'd waited another 5 minutes, if you went in 4 months later, if you'd waited another 5 minutes, it's always 5 minutes. Yeah. I don't know what it is in the medical world, but in another 5 minutes, you'd be dead.
You're unlucky, the fact that the paramedics and the fire, whoever responded, did not see the back of your head.
Well, I still say my head wasn't cut open at that point.
You think it happened in the apartment?
Right. Thus all the blood and the blood trail, the corner of the arm wall.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but with the concussion, I mean, look, there is nothing about those hours that has ever come back. And
it's not going to.
Right. And I tell people all the time, like, you might drink too much and somebody has to kind of jog your memory, but you'll remember at least some of it.
Sure.
Like, it is just gone. But I still think that's what I hit my head, because I remember holding on, just being super dizzy, holding on to my counter and falling.
Okay. You do remember that much.
I remember that. I remember getting up out of bed, falling again, thus the stitches in my chin.
So you remember every time you took a plunge.
Yeah.
But nothing in between.
No.
You just couldn't get your hands out. I mean, everything was just...
I mean, I'm trying to explain, but just imagine, like, generally if you're that drunk, you're not mentally there.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know. Have you ever been punched real hard in your days? Yep. I mean, like, the world, like, literally is spinning. And not like I took a mushroom, this is fun spin.
Right.
But, yeah, and I just couldn't stand up. I mean, I got up out of bed, stood up, boom. I didn't even have time to put out my hand.
Damn.
What unlucky thing happened to you to make people tell you how lucky you are? 206-421-ROCK.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.